Hey everyone, and welcome back to BL in the Air, your Thai BL podcast. I'm your host, Alex,
And I'm shy.
and what's in the air today, Shy?
So, you know this very well, but I've been watching My Stand-In as it's airing currently.
I'm
And
so
I'm
glad you started watching.
oh my God, I'm obsessed. I knew I would love it, so I tried to wait until I think I started watching with when 8 episodes were out.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's a good number. I'll start watching now, and then by the time I catch up to the show that as it's airing, there'll be more episodes out. And then I watched it all in 2 days. So I'm slightly having a mental breakdown as I wait for each episode to come out every Friday. And man, it's so stressful.
Oh, I know what you mean. That's why I think I started when 6 episodes were out, I think is how far I made it. And that wait to the seventh episode, I read the whole novel. I was like, I can't. I need to know what happens. I was gonna stop right when it caught up to where the show was, and then I was like, no. I'm gonna keep going. It's fine.
See, that's why I haven't read the novel yet, because I want to so bad because I want more content, but I know when I catch up to where the show is airing, I'm not gonna be able to stop myself.
Yeah. So, because what was the last episode? Episode 9, right?
Yeah, the ninth one just came out. We are approaching the 10th in a couple days here, so
Yeah. So
ah,
we only have 3 left, and then you can read the novel, and then we can talk about it.
yeah.
Because I have so many thoughts.
I know we already know we're doing an episode on the show.
Yeah.
For sure, we have to. I'm obsessed. It's one of my favorites, so I'm hoping it ends maybe not well, because the show's kind of a mess. The plot is a mess on purpose, but hopefully it ends good. I don't know. I mean, it started with a bang. I wanted to go out with a bang as well.
Yeah. I think it will. Knowing how the book goes, I don't know that they're gonna follow the book as closely because I feel like the first half followed the book pretty closely, and the second half has had to veer a little bit.
Mhm.
Which I think is more because the book is Chinese, right? So I think there's just social dynamics that don't make sense
Yeah.
in a Thai context. So I think that's kind of where a lot of stuff, and then some of it's just been timing because if they put everything in, it would be so much longer.
Yeah, I would be fine with it being longer, to be honest, but it's just so well made, you know?
Yeah,
The production's great, the acting, cinematography, everything, the writing, so I'm beyond obsessed.
I
But
love Up so much.
I do too. I need up and so this is what I did while in between episodes within a week is I watch all of Lovely Writer because that also
Wasn't that one
stars
so
up.
cute too?
It was really cute. It's so funny seeing him because I knew him as Ming,
Yeah.
and his character in Lovely Writer is much much different. So I was like, wow, the duality of this man. But that show was cute. It was well done and everything too. So I liked it.
Yeah. Because I did the same thing. I was like, okay, I need more of Up because I love Ming, even though I feel like I shouldn't. Um, and
I
so then
know. I do too.
I watched Lovely Writer, and then I was like, okay, now I need to know what happens in this stupid show. So now I got to go read the novel. So that's how that went for me.
Yeah.
But
Is that what's in the air for you, or do you have something else you've been watching?
well, this weekend I watched Sodus.
Yes.
I watched it in like a day, basically.
I was gonna say you went through that so quick.
Yeah.
And it's 15 episodes too. It's a little longer than most shows. Although the episodes might be shorter.
Uh, I think they're a little shorter. I think they're probably about 40-minute long
Okay.
episodes. So they're about average.
Yeah. But yeah, what did you give us a brief summary? I know we're definitely gonna do an episode on Sodus as well, but what are your thoughts?
So it's it's interesting because like the fact that like they use the word like hazing like in like normal context is so wild to me because like
Yeah.
my school had a big hazing issue within their Greek life and like stuff like that and like it was hazing's not good.
No.
And so I was like, what? It's head hazer. And the like teacher's like, yeah, you should discipline the kids. And I'm like, what is happening? But it's actually really funny because I think Love in the Air kind of like made this make more sense to me because like Love in the Air, they do the same like type of initiation stuff. It's just not really talked about because that's where like Sky was involved with a lot of that. And that's
Mhm.
where they would have like the overnight things that he was always doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's and I love like how you pointed out in the beginning of Sodas, it's like the hazing is exaggerated. Do not do this.
Right? The warning at the beginning of all the episodes. And I sat there and I was like, I wonder how much of this is actually exaggerated and how much of this is like happening at least at some schools.
Yeah, like it's definitely a like ritual thing. I feel like in Thai colleges, like I don't know like to what extent it goes to, but it's definitely like a actual position, to
Yeah.
have at like university. So, yeah, I'm curious how it like reflects like real university life or if it is really dramatized.
Yeah. I'm sure for like the average school it's probably dramatized, but I bet there's some that are that ridiculous, which even calling it that ridiculous, like knowing like the type of hazing that happened when I was in college, like it was still pretty tame, to be
Mhm.
honest. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
people ended up like in the hospital from like alcohol poisoning and stuff at my school.
Yeah, I think the difference is like American hazing isn't organized, and
No.
whereas like Thai hazing, it's like an organized like school sanctioned club almost.
Yeah, it's bonding within your own like degree.
Yeah. And our hazing is just like, let's make fools of the freshmen and put them in like mortal danger for some reason.
Yeah. I remember when I was a freshman and like everyone started like rushing in Greek life, which I didn't do, but I had a bunch of friends that did. And like there's always all these rumors about like certain sororities would make the girls like sleep overnight in coffins and like crazy stuff like that where I was
Like,
like,
where are you getting coffins from?
right? And like why the coffins are big too, so like where are you putting them? Like the sorority houses aren't that big.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like all hazing has to do with like a coffin one way or another.
Right? And then there'd be like, do this in the middle of the night and whatever. And like some stuff happened, but it was definitely never as like ridiculous as like some of the stories came out. My
Hmm.
my favorite was like a lot of it would just be like the upperclassmen and like the fraternities would be like, just go move my furniture for me.
Yeah.
Like, go do this manual labor for me for a few hours.
Yep. I'm like, okay. As far as hazing goes, that's
Yeah,
least productive.
that's not as big of a deal.
No.
I am glad that my degree program did not have hazing. Um,
Yeah, I my college wasn't like we didn't have a lot of Greek life in general, so I feel like I don't know. I never really heard about hazing being a thing. I'm sure maybe like one of the frats did it, but I think only like 11% of the undergrads were in frats, so it was kind of like I didn't really know that many people.
yeah, so I think Greek life is much bigger in the South.
Oh yeah.
Um,
From what I
and that's
hear.
yeah, because that it's like it's a huge thing where I grew up in the South, and so like it was always a big thing of like rushing and stuff like that, and I always thought it was stupid. I personally, I don't
It's
know.
just expensive. I'm just like, I don't really want to pay a couple $1,000s to like make friends. I could probably join a club for free.
I guess without having like the initiation and like the forced bonding, a lot of that still happened in my program because like we're a smaller program
Hmm.
and so like I went to like a normal sized university. I don't know, there's probably like 30,000 students or something like that. Like we're not massive, but we're not like tiny. But my
Hmm.
graduating program, like my graduating class was 8.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um
Yeah, you probably get to know people real well.
Yeah, so we were all really close. Like by the end of it, I think most of us in my class were all living together. I was living with somebody. There were two girls living with each other. Um, I know there were four different guys living in like two and two. And then like a lot of the grad students we were really close with. So the upperclassmen, I guess at that point, right? And they were all living together.
Yeah.
So we were always with each other. I spent probably 18 hours a day with the same people for like 3 years.
Yeah. That's definitely like, yeah, some bonding will happen for sure.
So we would go on trips together and stuff like that. So it was, like the token
Yeah.
like beach trip that happened. Um
And you didn't even have to climb in a coffin to
right?
do that.
Thank God. Because I like vampires. But I don't like coffins.
Yeah. Speaking of vampires.
Right?
What a segue.
Unintentional.
Yeah. Well, today we are talking about the show 1000 Years Old. Or is it 1000 Year Old?
I think it's 1,000 years old.
Okay. Well, today we're talking about 1000 Years Old, which is a vampire, like, college, not even really college. It's like a vampire BL drama, slightly. It's a weird show, which is why we wanted to talk about it. It's like we both watch it. It finished airing in May, and we watched all the episodes, and we were like, this is one of the weirdest shows we've ever seen, but we both like loved it. So we are like, we need to talk about this show.
I hated it when I first started watching it. I don't know if you remember.
I do kind of remember. That's what got me interested in watching it, though. I was like, I'd be down to hate watch a show.
Right? Because I didn't understand what I was watching. And that was
Mhm.
the problem because it's super campy and super like not serious.
Yeah, it took me a while where I was like, I can't tell if the show is satire or if it's like being genuine. So, yeah, if you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend like watching it if you're interested in like something kind of cute and unserious and weird. Otherwise, we'll talk about it today. We'll give you the whole rundown. It's definitely a trip, I'll say that much.
Yes.
So, this show, do you know what studio made it?
I don't.
Okay.
It doesn't say on my drama list. And then it's like Shane's profile also doesn't say what company he's under.
Oh, okay.
Opal is under Feel Good Bangkok.
Yeah, so okay, all of the episodes on YouTube are posted under Feel Good Bangkok, so that's probably
Yeah.
the studio that produced it. I am like unfamiliar with them completely, but
Yeah. BB is also under Feel Good Bangkok, so that checks out.
okay. So yeah, it's under probably that company, was airing this year. Some of the main characters that we're going to be talking about. First of all, we have the main two. We have Poon, who's a vampire. Very important.
Yes.
Then we have Yo, who's the other male lead. He's a human. We have so those are the main two. We have some of their friends then. We have Kamsai, who works at a restaurant. That's important. We have Shin, who we don't meet until like later in the show. He's less important.
Yeah.
Yo has a brother or a sister. Her name's Yam. And then we have Chai, who's another vampire. So, if you haven't seen the show, that means nothing to you, but don't worry. We're just setting the scene.
I love Chai. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I do too, honestly. Yeah, let's go through the plot. I have
Yeah.
a lot to talk about with the plot of the show. Some of it's so random and like never explained.
Can't wait.
Yeah. The show starts. We find out that Yo, the main character, he's the human, he's like in a club in university, and the whole point of the club is like to prove aliens exist.
Do you believe in aliens?
Ah. I believe there's probably like other life out there. I don't believe that like there are people on Earth that are like secretly disguised as aliens. I don't know. What about you?
No, I definitely think there's something out there.
Yeah,
I think the universe is entirely too big for there not to be something somewhere. Um,
I agree. I'm
but
like, even if it's just like little amoeba or something, you know?
mhm. Yeah, I agree. I also I don't think they've come to Earth. Um,
Yeah, I feel like we would know, but Yo and his friends are fully convinced that there are aliens on this Earth.
they spend a lot of time sitting around looking at the sky.
think like not only is this a club, even I think this is like their like thesis or something.
Yeah.
Like this is like a big project for them in their university.
Yeah, this has been like a defining character trait, I think, for since like a young age.
Yes, he's got like alien like decorations in his room. He's got like alien like outfits. I gotta say, the outfits in the show are like one of my favorite parts of the show. I feel like whoever the stylist was really popped off because all the outfits are really like colorful and cute.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was a fan. But we have okay, so Yo, they gotta find an alien. So he's kind of on the prowl for alien like behavior. And so he goes to a like pork blood soup stand, which I was unfamiliar with this dish before watching the show. Now I'm very familiar. But yeah, I guess yeah, it's a northern Thai dish where yeah, it's just like pig blood in a soup. I don't know. It sounds interesting.
It looks like almost like they made like jello chunks out of the blood.
Yeah, I think
Um
sometimes it's like congealed, if that's the right
yeah.
word.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. It literally it's like chunks of like jello in a bowl of some sort of broth.
Yeah, I would definitely try it.
I don't
I
know that I would.
I would try anything once. Would I like it? I don't know. I'm like a pretty adventurous when it comes to food, but this one I'm just like I feel like it's gotta taste very like metallic.
Yeah, I'm generally pretty adventurous with food until you put the word blood in it, and then I'm not.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think yeah, even like steak that's on the more rare side, I'm just like not that interested in.
I can handle like a medium rare steak,
Mhm.
but like a blood sausage or something like that. I don't even know if there's actually blood in a blood sausage. Just the fact that it's got blood in the name is already just a line for me.
Yeah, so we end up this dish is very important to the show. So I feel like I have to try it someday, but
Okay,
I'll give when that happens, I'll give my review.
we'll take the podcast to Thailand at some point, and that's what we'll do.
Oh my God. Live podcast from the pork blood soup stand would be iconic. But anyway, so this is Yo's favorite like food. He comes to the stand a lot. And then he looks over and he sees Pun, who's the vampire guy, doesn't know he's a vampire yet. But this is also his favorite stand, which because it's blood, so he's like this is his way to get nutrition. And he's got like a massive bowl in front of him, like the largest bowl you've ever seen in your life. And he finishes that bowl and orders one more. And so Yo sees this happen. He's immediately, this guy's an alien. That is his conclusion.
I would also think there's something wrong with him eating that much. Like,
Yeah, and it's just so like in the open too, and they have this like little beef for a second about like Yo is like first of all upset that this stand has a better customer than him.
yeah,
Like
because he was supposed to be like the VIP customer. Um,
yeah, and he's like first of all pissed that this guy is like stealing his VIP title, but also he's like alien. So it's very complicated relationship at the for the meet cute here.
My favorite was when like Poon like clocks him and then like sits on the other side so he doesn't have to look at him.
Yeah. Yeah, this show has so many good like little comedic moments that I just yeah, for right away I was like, okay, this is
Mhm.
like this could be pretty funny. Um and then okay, so he thinks he's an alien, he's like, perfect. We need an alien for our school project or whatever they're doing. And so he's like, okay, I need to like get to know this guy. I need to like scope him out and, you know, try to catch him in the act of being an alien, I guess. So that's kind of how they meet and that's how the relationship develops. At least from Yo's point of view. Well, later on we'll get Pun's like POV from when they met. But for now, that's what the audience knows. And then, like a normal person, he Yo rents an apartment, like a room in an apartment building that's on the same floor, like across the hall from Poon's, just so he could like stalk him a little bit easier. Um, and not only is it just a room, it's a haunted room, and there's literally a ghost that lives in there during the entire show.
Just the fact that everyone was like, yeah, that's normal that you just rented a random room. Like,
Yeah.
like
Even like Poon's like, "Oh, did you just move here?" And Yo's like, "No, I've had this apartment for a while." But it's like he's clearly lying. So now we have the introduction of a ghost. And I kind of love how they did this because it'll just be like Yo in his room for the rest of the show, and then sometimes there will just be like a random girl, like a little ghost just chilling behind him.
right? She'll just be watching and nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I think one time she like throws a chair or something, like when he's first touring the apartment, but other than that, she's like pretty chill. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
I do too.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I feel like I believe in ghosts more than I believe in aliens. On this earth, at least.
I have had so many experiences with ghosts. When I was living in Charlotte, my apartment was haunted.
Oh my god.
My ghost and I had
What would like
beef.
what happened?
So it started at Christmas. I had it was one of those like wall cling things, but it was a light. So like if you would like tap it, the light would come on it.
Uh,
And I'd be sitting on my couch and like I would just like look up because I'd have it like right behind me and I'd look up and it would be on. And I'm like, huh, okay. And like it's a little sensitive, so like maybe the building shifted because it was a rickety old building, whatever. Like that's fine. It is what it is. I just started making a joke that it was my ghost boyfriend, and so that was just kind of a thing for a while. And then I had like the stack of papers on top of some textbooks on the bottom shelf of my bookcase in my bedroom. And I walked in one day and the papers were just flung everywhere. And I was like,
oh.
"Excuse me? Like what is that about?" And I like cleaned them up and like they'd been there for like years. I hadn't touched them. And and then like that was the only time that ever happened too. And so I was like, I don't know how that happened. And I would hear like random like knocking on the wall and I'd just be like it's probably like the building shifting. I don't know, but it literally just sounds like somebody knocking more than like the building shifting. But the final straw for me where I just went on like a like 10-minute rant in my kitchen. I have you know like a cake thing like to like transport your cakes. You
Mhm.
know where the lid snaps on it or whatever.
Yeah.
I have one that's shaped like a loaf of bread that I got in Germany because they don't sell them here in the US.
Mhm.
Like even on Amazon, I can't find like the exact one I wanted. And so when I went to go visit my family in Germany, or my mom got it for me or something because she has one, it was sitting on top of my refrigerator. So like on a really big flat surface, like much larger than the actual cake thing. It got flung across my kitchen. Like it wasn't that it like the fridge like vibrated it and it fell off like in front of my kitchen. It was literally across my kitchen.
Oh my god.
And it broke. And I wasn't even scared. I
Aw.
was so mad. I was like, you're not welcome here. What the hell is this? Like, and then nothing else happened ever again in that
Aw.
apartment. Cause I was so fed up. Cause like the light thing, I had put that light up every year for Christmas. And so I was like, oh, hey, ghost boyfriend. You know, like I would just joke because it would just come on at random. And I'd be like,
Mhm.
huh, that's weird. Or I'd like walk in and it'd be on. And I'm like, huh, okay. And so I was like, that's cute. That's funny. No, you broke my cake container, which I have a new
Yeah,
one
that's
now.
too
Like,
far.
yeah, I was so mad.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
have any like ghost experiences, but I believe there's too
I-
many unexplained things in this
yeah.
world. Well, even though we believe in ghosts and Yo believes in aliens, he doesn't believe in ghosts. He like doesn't believe ghosts exist, even though there is like a ghost in his room. And he also doesn't believe that vampires exist, which he like then goes to Poon's room and it's like decked out in vampire gear. Like this is the part of the show where I was like, okay, this has to be like satirical.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to that until like a couple episodes later, but his room is literally like if you walked into like the most stereotypical what is a fan of a vampire gonna look like?
Yeah.
'Cause there's like
Like
a cape and and the coffin.
yeah, he's like sleeping in a coffin. They've got like yeah, the vampire cape on like a mannequin. It's all like red and
Which
yeah,
none of this fits Poon's like personality at all.
no. It's literally they went to like Spirit Halloween and they just like got some decorations and hung it up in his room, his tiny apartment. And I think at this point, I think pretty early on, Poon is like, "Oh, I'm a vampire." Like he tells Yo like right away.
Yeah, he doesn't hide it.
No, he's constantly like telling people he's a vampire because like no one believes him for
I
some
feel like I
reason.
would do that too though. Because nobody's gonna
Yeah,
believe me, so I'm just gonna go around and be like, yeah, I'm a vampire.
yeah,
Just
he just like doesn't care. And yeah, so okay, at this point, like Yo has experience with like vampires and ghosts, doesn't believe in them, but the aliens that he's never met and never had experience with, he like staunchly believes are real. Like he's just like, oh, Poon's not a vampire, he's an alien, even though all signs point to vampire. And but okay,
I mean, that checks out though. There's people like that.
yeah, it's like okay, I guess nothing's gonna shake your belief system, which is alien, but. And then the pork blood soup stand closes. It's horrible. They're devastated. But they have a plan. They grab Kamsai, who's the girl who worked as the waitress there before, and they're like, "Hey, let's reopen this place." But for some reason they open it on like the rooftop of their apartment building. So like they like don't have any customers because they're just like 20 stories up on a random apartment building.
I
And
love
like
that the apartment complex was like fine with it too.
I know, yeah. I guess yeah, they don't care, don't need any like permits or anything. I don't even know how they got the stand up there. I don't it wouldn't even fit in the
Don't worry about
elevator.
it.
Yeah. Someone flew it up, I guess, one of the aliens. But yeah, so they decide to do that and then the like next half of the show is just about them like opening a restaurant for the most part.
All the TikTok challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, so like so while this is happening, they're like preparing to open and stuff. We meet Samchai, who pretty clearly is another vampire. And he just like shows up and like claps all the time.
I love Somchai so much. He gives off the exact like vampire energy that you would actually expect,
Yeah.
right? Like kind of mean, knows he's kind of powerful and kind of hot.
Yeah. Kind of just cares about himself.
Yep. Clearly drinks human blood. Um
Yeah. But yeah, he just walks up and he clearly knows Poon, but we don't quite know the relationship. I honestly to this day don't think I quite know the relationship.
yeah, he's just part of the circle of vampires, but I wish they would have gone into like how they met and all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of like yeah, the vamp because a lot of it I feel like it's from Yo's perspective, and Yo is maybe one of the stupidest people on earth, and he just like doesn't comprehend anything. Like I love
No.
him, he's a very sweet boy, but oh my god, he stressed me out this entire show. It's like put two and two together, I'm begging you.
Right.
Um like like this is the part of the show too where he's like, I'm starting to think maybe Putin might be a vampire. It's like, okay, he told you he was like weeks ago, but
Yeah. It's he sleeps in a coffin. All he eats is pork blood soup. Like you literally can't get this guy to eat anything else. Like
mhm. He's literally like using he can't go in the sun without being like burned or something, whatever. So he's like always like bundled up. He's got an umbrella out every time it's like during the day, you know.
Yep. I mean, either he's very in character in this cosplay or he's a vampire. Um,
Yeah. And so Poon's like, okay, I'm gonna test him, and he starts like giving him presents, but the presents are like garlic, a cross necklace, like other things like that would just try to like test to see if like Poon's a vampire, which is so funny. Like, because Poon's just like, oh, I am a vampire, and then Yo's like, okay, let me give you this garlic so I can be sure. He's like, I don't believe you, but maybe the garlic will prove it.
The cross necklace, though. I have such a soft spot for that.
Yeah, I love the cross necklace too. It's like a cute gift. Like the garlic's like a little weird, but at least the necklace, it's because then it's something that Poon wears for like the rest of the show.
But the thing, like, it actually does hurt him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he just likes Yo so much that he suffers. And I'm like, oh, my heart.
Yeah. Because like the garlic, like I don't think had any effect, but the necklace, like Yo, like later on notices that he has like kind of like a burn mark on his chest from the necklace.
Mhm.
And then and then he's like, oh, you don't have to wear this, but Poon's like, oh, but like, you know, you gave it to me, whatever, it's cute.
I love Poon so much. He's such a gentle person.
He is. Yeah, Poon's like my favorite character. He's just very like straightforward and he's just like going along with everything, which I think is funny. Cuz like he's definitely like knows that Yo is like testing him, but he's like okay with it, you know. He's like not mad or anything. Yeah, and like while they're doing this, like their business isn't going well, probably because they opened on a rooftop and not street level. So yeah, they decide to film like commercials. They're basically just like they just do TikTok marketing and they like try to make a song and dance and no one cares. And then they like do skits and stuff where they're in like costumes. I don't know.
Yeah, there was
like a whole episode. I'm just like, what are you doing?
putting Poon in the alien outfit.
It's honestly so funny though. And he's just like, and the rest of the episode, he's wearing this little like alien blow up costume, and like serious things are happening, and he's just like looks ridiculous. It's so good. And
It
like
really is.
one of these TikToks, I guess, like blows up a little bit, goes a little viral, and then finally they have customers at their little stand. Like they have like a little bit of fans, I guess, come and yeah, then business is okay for a little bit. And then we get into some vampire lore.
Finally.
Yeah. So okay, Yo, I feel like he still is doesn't quite believe in vampires, but I think there's like an attack or something like okay, I feel like vampires are like I feel like everyone knows they exist in this world. Because there's like a news reported vampire attack and there's like a hashtag like Thai vampire that was trending. So it's not really a secret. It's like I feel like everyone knows vampires exist.
Yeah, it's one of those I feel like it's maybe still a conspiracy theory level of it's weird that this person had bite marks that look like they could belong to a vampire. Maybe Thailand has a vampire. Right?
Yeah,
more than
like that.
Yeah, more than it's like just fact that vampires are around.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't know. This must happen like kind of it must have happened a couple times cuz like
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the news report that we saw was like the third or fourth case or something like that.
Mhm. And so Yo just realizes he's like, "Oh my god. Can vampires hurt people?" This is the stupidest part of the show. Oh, we're like, what? Like, and so then he spends the rest of the episode freaked out that Poon's gonna like drink his blood, even though he wasn't afraid of that before. And so he just wears this like ugly scarf for a whole episode.
Poor Poon is like, what is your deal?
Yeah. Just like the thought process. Poon puts up with just like so much he doesn't care at all.
Yeah,
Like Yo's always like doing something weird instead of being normal and just like communicating. He's just, I don't know, taking it upon himself to look like a fool.
communicate in a BL. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Oh God. We could do a whole episode sometime on like the worst communications and like BL shows. Ugh. Miscommunication is just like my least favorite trope, I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, but it can be done right because there are a few times where I'm like, I wish you people would just talk to each other, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I also wouldn't be talking in this situation though.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is real.
Yeah, it's hard to do well, but it does exist. Um Oh, and then we meet Janja, who is another vampire.
Yes. Who's who's been around this entire time? Been around Yo.
Yeah. They're like they know each other from school, but
Mhm.
she's also knows Pun and Samchai because they're a little vampy trio. And we're like, what's her deal? And we don't really find out for a while.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah. We're just like, okay, hi Janja. Nice to meet you.
That's Poon gets a little stressed out around her, right? Because
Yeah.
Yo is just like, oh yeah, that's my friend from school, and Poon is just like,
Yeah.
about
Whenever
that.
whenever Janja and Samchai come around, Poon it goes like silent. Like he's just
Yeah,
rendered completely nonverbal, and we're just like
yeah. There's
not
there's some
sure why.
trauma there.
Yeah. So yeah, instead of like saying I don't know, and then like Yo's always like, "Oh hey friends," like whatever, and then Poon's just like glower, like just like upset in the corner, and we're like, okay,
It's the Edward Cullen treatment.
yeah, actually,
Oh, I will say Yo is also terrified of Sumchai. Um,
yes,
which
I don't,
valid.
yeah,
That is a fair assessment. Um,
yeah. Samchai is I don't know. He's basically because then like the next thing that happens is that Samchai tries to bite Yo, and
yeah,
so I mean Yo just literally like stands there and is like I don't know.
helpless men.
Yeah. He like doesn't try to like he's got no fight or flight. He's completely freeze.
Yes.
And luckily Poon shows up and like punches Samchai in the face before he could bite Yo. It's like okay. I think at this point Yo probably fully believes in vampires. I would hope.
I hope. I feel like he's always gonna have like a level of doubt until
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah. And then okay, I wasn't quite sure about like this whole part, but I think it's kind of implied that Poon drinks human blood now cuz like the lore in this show is that vampires who drink human blood are strong enough to like go out in the sunlight and like be fine, but if they just drink like animal blood like Poon normally does, that's why he has to wear like use the umbrella and he like can't really go out into direct sunlight. But we start seeing him like in full sunlight, and so I think that's kind of like the implication. And I think Samchai gives
Yeah.
him like a bottle of blood to drink. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think he did have some human blood because I think he drank at least some of that bottle because he dumped some of it in the sink, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not like he like bit someone though, or like
no.
killed or hurt anyone. He just like yeah, got a bottle of human blood wine and
So
yeah,
gross.
yeah. And Yo like figures this out and tries to confront him, but then they just kiss. And so it's like, okay, I guess
That's reasonable, I guess.
yeah, it solves their problems. This is the only kiss in the show and it's like a cute little peck, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's the only time they kiss, but it's cute. I do really like Poon and Yo together.
I do too.
Yeah, they have good chemistry. They're like a really cute couple. Um as much as we clown on Yo for like his
Yeah.
character, I like both of them, and I like them together quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also when we learn another piece of vampire lore is that Pun only has 75 years left to live. So I guess the name of the show comes in where vampires they live for 1,000 years. So they're like immortal until the end of their 1,000 years is up.
Which is such a random.
Yeah. I don't know any other like piece of vampire media that does it that way, you know?
Yeah, I don't either. Because it's one of those I've seen it before where it's like you live to like 1,000 or something like that if you don't successfully do like X, Y, or Z, but never
Mhm.
just yeah, you're gonna die when you turn 1,000, just outright. Like
Yeah, it's so like exact. Yeah, and so I guess Pun is like 925 years old or something. So
Mhm.
I I can talk about this more later, but I did a little bit of math for the show and it doesn't quite add up. Like I think Pun's like said his age like a couple like differently a couple times,
Yeah.
but this time they're like seeming to be like really honest with each other because then he's like, "Oh, I only have 75 years left. You also probably only have 75 years left. Like let's live it out together." Kind of thing. Just
Which
sweet.
is a really long like lifespan because Yo is probably like 20-ish, right? Like give or
Mhm.
take like a year here or there. Because he's in college, so he's at least like 18. So, but to make it math easy, 20, that puts him at like 95. Like,
Yeah.
are you sure he's got 75 years? Because that's not the lifespan. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's what all the other vampires are like. You don't have much time left. And then Yo is just like, what do you like? You have like so much time left. Like, you have like way more time left than me, probably. So, yeah, it's kind of funny to see their different perspectives.
Mhm.
Pun is just absolutely like whipped for his boy. So he's just like, I'll do anything for you. I'll spend the rest of my life together with you. And then out of nowhere, so I don't think we talked about Shin really. He just like works at their restaurant.
He's a chaotic ball of happiness,
He
honestly.
is.
He's just there to be happy. He's like happy to be around people and like be included. That's all he
Yeah.
wants, is just include me.
And for some reason, Poon doesn't really like him. Like, it's not really explained, but Poon has like a one-sided beef with him for like no reason.
Hmm.
But there's like one scene, this is not important at all, but one scene where Shin and Samchai, they have a little bit of chemistry, and for a minute I was like, oh, is this
I
gonna
was
happen?
so here for that.
I was
I
too.
I wanted it so bad, but then nothing happened.
I know. That, honestly, season 2, that's what I want. Like, I just want those two.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I would too. And then Poon and Yo kinda get engaged.
Yes.
Like, it's so weird. Cause we'll explain the next what happens after that. But like, I don't know. It's cute. This moment was really cute. Um, they're like sitting in a park, and then like Kun proposes with like a fake ring, kind of thing. Whatever. You know, they're happy.
Yeah, it was super cute.
Hmm. In retrospect, after watching the rest of the show, it's like really weird, but
The
yeah,
whole show's really weird.
that's true. In retrospect, all of this is very strange. I feel like even us talking about it like doesn't do the
It
bizarreness
doesn't,
justice.
because like again, like during all of this happening, anytime Yo would be like in his room, there's just the random ghost hanging out in the background and like plays nothing into the plot. Um,
There's like I made like a little list at the end of weird unexplained things that happen. So we can discuss that too and
yeah.
try to come up with our own headcanons for why they were included. But yeah, so many just like little things in the plot where it's like you think it's gonna become something and
Relevant, yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't. It's just like there.
The show ends and you just kind of sit there and you go, "What?"
Yeah, like I want to know what happened with the ghost girl. And then after they get engaged, their business is not doing well again, probably because once again they're just on a rooftop. And Poon wants to like Poon's acting weird. He wants to like step out of the business, pass it down to Kamsai, and it's kind of like dramatic. And then we find out that like the fans that came before from the viral video were all actors that Poon hired. So like his friends would, be happy and feel successful and stuff.
That was such a moment for me where I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because it was the fans were fake, like, so that meant everybody that's coming to the restaurant, besides I guess some of like the people that lived in the apartment complex, like all of it was fake. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Poon really just wanted to be around people. Like especially Yo, but like everybody, like even Kamsai, he just wanted to be around them and like happy. That's all he
Yeah.
wanted was just to be happy.
Yeah. Which is like it's like sweet, but then they're all very like they feel betrayed and they're all
It,
super mad at him.
yeah, it just broke my heart because I was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this poor child," honestly, because like yes, he's like 900 and something, but he has like the sensitivity of like a teenager. Um
Mm-hmm. And he's kind of treating this like his last life,
yeah.
because it is kind of his last like lifespan. So he is like making an effort and like making friends and you know stuff
Yeah.
like that. But something is clearly like going on behind the scenes that like we don't really know about. Like he's just like acting like weird and withdrawn and stuff.
Yeah, and it has something to do with Janja, but like because she keeps coming in and out, right? But
Mm-hmm.
and some Chai, like there's something between the three of them that's bothering him.
Yeah, they're like having conversations that we don't understand and
Yeah, I will say like I wish they had like explained some of it better,
yeah. It's
right?
very like figure it out on your own.
Yeah, there was a lot of yeah, we're only going to give you maybe like a third of the puzzle pieces, but you should be able to see the whole picture, right?
Yeah. I do kind of like the vibe of the show though is very much just like just go with it. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be weird and wacky, but
Mhm.
you don't have to fully understand everything. So like yeah, the when parts like this of the plot get kind of messy, it's a little annoying, but also it's not like for the show it kind of fits in. It's like
Mhm.
not too out of place. Especially when Prune goes MIA and everyone's looking for him. And when they find him, it's at his own wedding. And he's getting married to Janda.
Yeah, that was because that was like the next to last episode or something like that. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Or was it the last episode?
uh
I
yeah,
think
one of it might be the last
I think they walk in onto the
episode.
wedding on the next to last one, and that's how the last episode picks up.
Yeah. And so it's like first of all, I was taken aback because I was like, you literally just proposed. Why would you propose to Yo if you knew you were getting married like the next day or whatever? Like,
Right?
I still don't understand that.
I was so mad.
I know. I think we were like coming up with theories. We were like, oh, maybe he did that so like at the wedding, Yo would like object to the marriage or whatever, and that like doesn't happen. They like
Nope.
literally get married. And yeah, I guess like looking at it now is probably like his so we learn later he does not actually want to get married to Janja, but it was probably like he knew that this was happening and so he wanted to like actually get or like propose to someone who he actually wanted to get married to, but it was just like so mean. Like Yo is obviously devastated. Like he thinks he's engaged to you know this
Yeah.
guy that he's been very close with, and then he just like he's randomly getting married to his classmate.
Yeah, I feel like if he was gonna just dip out and vanish like that, he should have left like a here's a explanation letter
Mm-hmm.
that like clarified some stuff.
Yeah, finding out like at alter what was happening is just like he doesn't explain anything. And we don't get an explanation. We get the explanation from like Janja like a little bit later.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so that happens clearly like it's messy. I think like Yo runs out or something. I don't know.
I would have as well.
I know. It's like what I he probably felt so betrayed. Like makes sense. And then like after the wedding, Jan just like talking and is like, yeah, Poon says like he'll never love me. Okay.
Yeah, after like how many years you're just now accepting that?
Yeah, and so this is we get info dumped here. Like this is like the last episode. They're like, we're gonna explain everything as best as we can, but it's still not gonna make sense. But here's your info dump. So like Samchai finds Yo, and he's like, so this is what happened. So in every life, Poon finds your reincarnation. And he's like, he's in love with you. Like every time you die and reincarnate, he knows it's you because you have like the same birthmark. And Yo has like a birthmark on his neck.
Yeah, like a large birthmark.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, so Poon always in every life, Poon finds you. But he dies in every life because Janja always kills Yo to try to get Poon to love her instead. And it clearly doesn't work because Poon just waits till Yo reincarnates and stuff. But they're married now, so like maybe it's worked, you know?
Yeah. I was not expecting a reincarnation plot.
I wasn't either. I'm like,
that came out of nowhere.
yeah, I guess if this is, I mean, Thailand is pretty like Buddhist, so I don't know how much that like, I don't know. I don't know if that played into the show or if it was just like kind of the fact that we have like aliens and vampires and ghosts and it's like, oh, let's just throw like one more thing in there. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it either.
I don't know if it's because they're Buddhist or it seems to be just a pretty like accepted like Thailand reincarnation type of thing. But yeah, 'cause it was really I remember reading comments online where people were like really surprised that they cast Opal as Yo and like let him like show his birthmark like that obviously because it is a very large birthmark on his neck. And I was like, oh, it's because that was a plot point. We just didn't know it.
Yeah.
like there's a lot of praise for like, yeah, good that you didn't like have him like I don't know if you can get that removed or whatever. And it's like, oh. Now I'm like, was that even real? Like I don't know what he looks like.
I know. I was kind of wondering that during because I just thought like, oh, the actor had a birthmark, and then they were like showing the flashbacks where like all these other people had the birthmark, and I was like, oh, is that real? I don't know. So then it's kind of like, I guess we kind of think back to like when they first met, and it's like, oh, so Poon knew who he was the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, which kind of makes sense why he like tolerated a lot of like Yo's weird behavior because he just like didn't care. He's just like, oh, here's my love again.
Yeah, this is my soulmate. It's fine.
Yeah,
he's a little weirder this time than normal, but
still love him anyway. And so a year goes by that after the wedding, so it's a year after the wedding, and John she's like kind of over it. She's like kind of accepted. She's talking to Samchai, and she's like, yeah, Poon won't touch me. We're not having any children. And so I guess as a viewer, I'm guessing that's why they had to get married in the first place, was for like
babies,
bloodline reason. Yeah, I think she says something about like, oh, the family name like ends here.
Yeah, because there's like a deal made at some point, wasn't there? Like between like her family and I guess his, but that doesn't necessarily make sense because like his backstory doesn't fit that narrative.
No, yeah, they do mention something like that where he promised her parents or something of that sort.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely clear.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense at all.
There's some sort of old pact, like an undescribable amount of years ago.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, why are this is like 1,000 years later? Why are they like honoring? Like, I just feel like there's no need for Poon to like go through with it, especially if he knew that he wouldn't like, you know, if it
Yeah,
would be
like
pointless.
he's been ignoring this chick for like hundreds of years, and now he's like, fine, I'll give in.
And then he's like, "Oh, but we're only getting married to have kids, but I'm not gonna have kids with you." So it's like, why did you get married in the first place?
Maybe he did that to protect Yo,
Yeah,
because Yo's life was getting threatened a little more frequently.
that is true.
So maybe it was that, because everybody kind of left Yo alone after that. Because
Yeah,
Samchai went away, and Janja went away.
yeah,
No,
yeah. I guess that would make sense. They
yeah,
definitely didn't like explain it well,
no,
if that was the intention, but
no, but that would make sense.
it would make sense. Um, but yeah, she's basically just like, yeah, he doesn't love me. I'm over it. I don't love him anymore. I'm not gonna kill Yo because I just like don't care. And she just kind of like gives up and lets them be together. And it's like she's been doing this for like 926 years at this point, and I don't know. She was pretty chill about just like giving it up now.
Yeah, it makes me. I wonder how many vampires there actually are in like this world. Like,
Yeah,
could she have just found a different one?
that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't know why you need to like breed with this one kid specifically, because like there's gotta be other people. Also, are her and Samchai siblings? Or like, what is
Never
the
clarified.
relationship between the three of them?
Samchai's just there to cause chaos.
I feel like one of them, like Samchai turned Poon into a vampire, or the other way around, or was there something like that?
I have no idea.
I
I
don't.
they like hinted at it, but I don't know that they ever explicitly said it.
I don't think so either. So yeah, we don't even know what the relationship is. We don't know why like Janja couldn't just date Samchai instead. Maybe they were siblings, maybe not. Wasn't really explained. Also, I was like going back and watching some of this to, remember the plot. And I feel like Janja kind of had a thing with her like assistant. Like there's this like
Yes,
one lady who's like her friend or her assistant or something, and she's clearly very into Janja. And so I was like, oh, maybe like they end up together.
I don't think that was her friend. I think that was like a classmate that she like bit one day, and then they had like an understanding.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
because
either way, she was like into it, so
because Yo also found her and realized that she had been bitten. But I think at that point everyone thought it was Samchai that bit her.
Mhm.
Because he's also going around terrorizing like random people in during all this. Um,
Yeah.
like the one like busybody in the apartment complex.
Oh my god, there's like yeah, one really nosy lady in the apartment complex. She might be like the landlord or I don't know. But it's so funny because she's like always up in everyone's business and has like all the tea.
Yeah, she knows that they're vampires and she can spot them. And
Yeah. And she knows Samchai's a vampire because one time she found like a dead girl in his room or
yes.
something. So she's just like in the beginning of the show, she was also warning Yo. She was like, "Hey, do not. Those people are vampires," and he's like, "Whatever."
That's not my problem. You're
Yeah,
lying.
I'm not gonna. That's not gonna affect me at all. And so, yay, Janja gives up on their marriage, and I don't know how Yo finds out about that.
I'm
'Cause
sure
this is.
Janja told him.
Oh, yes, I think she does tell him.
Oh yeah, because they run into each other in the park,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so he runs to their apartment, and Pooja's just there in his apartment room, like 2 doors down from Yo's room. It's like you guys really didn't run into each other at all.
I think Yo moved out of the apartment, didn't he?
He must have, but all
And
of his things are still in his apartment. Like it's still all like vampy in there. So it doesn't really look like he
no, I
moved.
think Yo moved, not Not Poon.
Oh, Yo moved.
I think Yo moved back home because he was only renting that to be near Poon anyway.
That's okay. That would
So
check out then,
yeah,
yeah.
so I think Yo went back home because up until that point he was just living at home.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he goes to Poon's apartment. Poon is there. They like reconcile and reopen the restaurant. And this happens very quickly.
Yeah. This is clearly nobody's feelings had changed in this year.
Nope. And okay, this is my favorite part of the entire show. Is the last 5 minutes. And this is so funny. I had to show this to my friend, like, no context. She knows nothing about the show. And I just had to be like, okay, look at the way that this show ends. So, it is now, like, I don't know, maybe like 60 years in the future. And we get to see Yo and Poon together for the last time. And so Poon's, he looks the same. He's a vampire. He's sitting on his bench. And next to him is this literal elderly grandpa who's like 85 years old. And that's supposed to be Yo. Like, way in the future. And so our final scene of these two is like Poon and this elderly man cuddled up together, like, on this bench. And it's like, they're having, like, a serious, like, dialogue. Like, it's very sentimental. It's the end of the show, and I cannot take it seriously. Because literally, Shane, the actor, who's, like, 25, is just cuddling with this grandpa, and there's, like, I'm like, I can't do this.
I love that you didn't take it seriously because I sobbed.
Did you?
I cried so hard. I was so upset at this.
Like, this is another thing where, like, yeah, either it's, like, really sweet, which it is, or you can watch it and just be like, what happened to Yo? Like, he's, like,
He
so
aged.
old.
Yeah,
He did age.
that's all I could process was like over time of like when the age gap became very obvious between the two and how all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like Poon would have to be like the son or the nephew or however they played it off, and where they
Oh.
and my heart just broke. Just
Aw.
and I was just distraught.
Yeah, I mean, that is, like, very profound if you, like, think into it. But I was just
No.
like, I was just watching it and I was like, never in my entire life have I ever seen a show do this before. Like, yeah, maybe they'll like switch out both actors for older people, whatever. But it's just
Yeah.
for some reason it was just so funny the way they just switched out like the one guy into someone who was like 60 years older, and then the other one was just the same actor, and I was like, okay.
I love that you thought that was funny. I love that we went completely opposite with that.
I feel like that's so representative of us.
Yes.
But that's what's great though. Like, I feel like the show, you can get like so much out of it. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
different ways to like interpret it.
Yeah, I did not expect to cry at the end because I spent the entire time going, "This is a mess. I love this," but not like this is gonna make me cry a mess.
I will say they have like a little montage before that scene where they do show them like kind of living the rest of their life together. And it's still like the same two actors, but it is very beautiful. They're like just seeing like some of their experiences together. And that was really nice. I just couldn't, I don't know. I just couldn't go with
doesn't Yo like die like right there?
So, yes. Okay, it's kind of implied Yo dies, and then fade to black, and then we open to the epilogue scene. And it's just Poon and Samchai sitting on a bench, and literally the first thing they say is, "So, everyone's dead, right?" And he's like, "Yep, everyone died." And they're just like sitting on this park swing and they're like, yeah, everyone you knew in this whole show, they're all dead now. It's just us two again. Like, okay.
I like to think that some Chy also just hung around everybody
I,
after all this.
I know. I love the idea of Samchai becoming just like, instead of a menace, just becoming like a minor pest.
Right? Like he's just there being grumpy in the corner.
Yeah. Like obviously, so the problem with like a vampire dating a human is that they have different like lifespans. But since they were like, oh, we're pretty much at the end of our lifespan, so it's okay to date someone who will have like the same lifespan as me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I feel like Janja and like Yo or Janja and Samchai could have just probably found someone too, even if they were like human, you know?
Yeah, I don't think some Chy liked humans enough to want to do that. Like he gives
Yeah.
off the type that like maybe he'll have like a fling here and there, but never anything serious.
Him and Shin would have been so good.
It would have.
Okay, and so this is where the math is a little weird. Because this epilogue scene happened 6 years later. And then they're like, okay, everyone's dead. But we still got 20 years left. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so if Yo is 20, roughly, and there's 1 year that passes between like the marriage and when they get together.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 21, and then how old was he when he died? Maybe
75 minus 20 minus 6. That would have been 49 years later.
okay, yeah. So yeah, if Poon was 1926, and then they lived to their, or oh my god, okay, he was 926. They lived till they're 1,000, but
Yeah.
there's 20 years left, which means that at the time that
He would have been 974 when Yo died.
yeah, 974. There was also 6 years.
That's including the 6 years.
Oh, that's including the 6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So 48 years have passed, and if Yo was 21, that means he would have died when he was 69, I guess.
Which he looked a lot older than
He
69.
looked a lot older, like
He looked
20
like
years
he
older.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I was like, I'm not sure if this math really checks out, but okay. But, and then, yeah, I was like, okay, I thought the whole point was like they would die around the same time, but I guess Yo died young, which is kind of sad thinking about the implications of that. Okay, but then what's even like a little bit weirder, where I was like, what? Is so like Poon always finds Yo during every life, and Samchai was like, well, we got 20 years left. Are you gonna try to find him again? And he was just like, I don't know, he's just kind of like, maybe. But then he's like sitting in the park, like watching some children. So I feel like it's kind of implied that he was like scoping the children out for Yo.
Well, that's he did that. Like he found
Yeah.
Yo, like because he went and brought him like ice cream or something.
Yeah. Like they did previously, him and Yo did meet when Yo
Yeah.
was a child. And like nothing weird, whatever.
No, it's definitely very normal. It's like they ran into each other in like a playground, which
Yeah.
very on brand for Poon to be in a playground, honestly.
Yeah. But this is just like funny to me because it's just like, okay, well, Yo's only gonna be 8. He's only gonna be like a legal adult for 2 years before you die. So it's just like, I guess best of luck to you, you know?
Yeah, I have a feeling that he would maybe not approach him. Not in the same
Probably
way,
not. Maybe
you
just
know.
like, yeah, just more like guardian kind of like,
Yeah.
making sure his reincarnation is doing
Mhm.
well before Poon passes. But
I wonder, do vampires reincarnate?
see, I was actually just thinking that. I'm gonna guess they don't because they're undead. You know?
Yeah, because that's unfortunate. Because then, like if you reincarnate and you do have like a soulmate, then and then your soulmate just never comes back, like, do you get a new soulmate?
Yeah. Or do you? Oh God, yeah.
That's sad.
That is sad. I'm gonna guess, yeah, unless you reincarnate when you're turned into a vampire, but I feel like you still have because I think you like technically lose your soul. It depends on the media.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was also thinking that too. I was just like, okay, poor Yo, the rest of his lives. I guess he'll just find someone new. I kind of don't believe in soulmates, so
I don't know that I believe in soulmates. I would like to think there's a soulmate out there, but I'm also like I'm heading into my mid-30s and I'm very single. Um,
yeah, I feel like there's probably just like a lot of suitable people out there for you, maybe some more than
yeah.
others, but I don't know if there's like
Yeah,
only
I
one
think
person.
I think even if there is a like soulmate, I think it's not like an end all be all. Like if you don't find them, you'll never find like happiness. I just think it's a like
Yeah.
different level of happiness. So,
Yeah,
but you don't necessarily know what you're missing out on if you never meet them. So,
that is true. But then I look at like Dan and Phil and I'm just like, wow, maybe
Or-
it does exist.
yeah,
But yeah, that's how the show ends. And I was just like, okay, slay, loved it.
yeah. I honestly I loved it too. And then I keep up with BB now, who plays Somchai.
Hmm.
So technically his name is Big Boss, but apparently he prefers to go by BB.
I could see why.
Yeah, he is always live on TikTok, like always.
Good for him. Um, yeah, I love the show though. It was funny, it was colorful, it was cute. I loved the main characters. I love their relationship. I love like the satire. Yeah, I thought overall it was like a really enjoyable show. And I feel like the ratings for it on my drama list aren't super high, which makes me really sad because I feel like people just like didn't get it.
No, I agree. It's got a pretty low rating. It's like what 6 point something.
Yeah. And I'm like, I've seen like way worse shows that are rated higher than that. And
Yes.
so I think, yeah, maybe like you, like when you first went into it, people thought it was going to be like they had different expectations.
Yeah, I don't know that Thailand does really like serious vampire shows. I mean, we'll see what happens with Revamped and then Vamp from
Yeah.
from Boone and Mike Angelo. But like cuz like OMG Vampire is airing right now. I don't know. Do you know anything about it?
Uh I watched like the trailer
Okay.
and yeah, you can
So
explain.
so it's like these vampires that end up like going into like the human world because like Gen X vampires aren't allowed to date or something like that, right? But what gets me, first off, apparently it is very unserious as well. But the name of the like town in the show is Thai Wilight. Thai Wilight.
Twilight. That's good.
Yeah. So it's almost done airing. I think it has maybe like an episode or two left, and then I might binge it.
Oh man, I thought it like just
So.
started.
No, it's started. So it is shorter. But it
Hmm.
started like 6, 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I feel like that show's probably going to be decently similar to this one.
yeah,
Just, like the tone of it looks kind of
yeah.
city
It's
vampire.
a lot of the feedback's been about the same that I've seen of like I don't know why I'm watching this, um,
Hmm.
and a lot of it is if you don't like it, you don't get it type of a thing.
Yeah.
So it does have a 7.2 rating right now. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's only 8 episodes, so it started at the mid-May. So
Okay. I was gonna say because I like remember like before it started airing. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I overall like I don't know. As a person who enjoys a lot of like vampire media, I liked seeing the ways that they kind of poked fun at like the vampire stereotype and
hmm
just like other I don't know. It was very like playful, but it was definitely like I liked everything about it.
I did too. Once I realized what I was watching, like I had to get to that point, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I enjoy this now.
Yeah. And so here's my list of weird unexplained things that happened throughout the show that I thought was going to go somewhere and then it didn't. Okay, first of all, We talked about the ghost girl in the bedroom a couple times. She's just there in the bedroom. It's honestly some of it. I think one scene was like kind of scary because like she kind of like jump scares you in the mirror or something
Yeah.
happens and I'm just like, oh my god, that was actually kind of spooky.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna start getting like scarier plot at that point, and then nothing happened again.
The tone shifts in the show is crazy. And then there's also another random girl that kind of follows them around and doesn't ever say a word. And so she's mostly like with the group of like the alien friends. Maybe she was the alien all along.
I think honestly she was just a friend they just didn't give any lines to. Like I think she was like I don't think there was anything else to that. It was just this one friend that just sat in a corner and just never got acknowledged.
I guess so. It was just so weird that she was like half the time sitting like 10 feet back from everyone though, you know? Just like she's just like in the corner. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the only thing that really threw me off was there was one scene where Yo was talking to like the main like female friend in that group, and there's somebody else there, and then there was the random girl that doesn't say anything. And the way that like they talked, where it was just gonna be like Yo and like the main friend like going off to go do something, and this girl is just kind of like nodding behind them, like yeah, I'm gonna be part of this, but not actually saying anything, and they don't acknowledge her being part of this.
They
But when they
never
leave to
acknowledge her.
no, and when they leave to go do whatever thing they just said they were gonna do, she follows behind, and like Yo's like literally like pulling his friend like to make sure they go fast and get it done. And I was just like, that's the only like thing where it's like really like I don't. Maybe she is just another ghost that's hanging.
I know, yeah, at first I thought she was the same ghost in the bedroom, but
Yeah,
then she wasn't. I don't know, I feel like everything in this show, I feel like all the shots, like, all, like, everything that's put into, like, the shot and the scene of the show was so intentional. It makes me feel like there was, like, a reason that they did it, even if it was just to be like, haha, she's the alien. Because we never do meet an alien in the show.
no, I mean I have no idea.
Yeah, that's my interpretation. Because then the next bullet point I have is aliens question mark. Because we have vampires, we have uh,
Ghost.
ghosts, we have reincarnation, we have like all these things, but do we have aliens?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, unless this one random girl following them around was an alien, I no.
Yeah. Which is like funny. I love the irony of that, of like Yo just being bombarded by all these like crazy mystical beings and still just staunchly being like, I don't believe in them, but I do believe in the one that I have no proof for. And it's sweet. They do like have like a plot device set up where it's like he has to choose between aliens and vampires, and it's kind of like him choosing between like his old friends and his new friends and his like old life and his new life and stuff. But
Yeah,
next thing is there is so much smelling in the show.
that's what they did instead of kissing. Oh.
Yeah, that was literally like the stand-in for kissing. Yeah.
And it was like there's so many times where I thought that Poon was gonna like bite Yo because he was like smelling on his neck. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, are we gonna have this moment? Like,
I love me a little vampire bite moment, but
yep,
never happens.
Nope.
Yeah, it was just like every episode. I don't know. It was so intense. I was like, okay, put your sniffer away, please. It's getting a little weird here.
It happened at like some of the strangest times too. Like, didn't it happen like when they went to the restaurant? Like the one time that Yo was like, "Go eat something other than this blood."
Yeah, they were just very public sniffing. Like, okay. Oh, and then this was so funny. The So Puna is explaining like why he doesn't have fangs, and he's like, "Oh, it's because like I went to the dentist and had them file down."
That was such a weird moment. Don't they come back at some point though? Don't they?
Yeah, and then towards the end of the show, they do show him with fangs. So it's like, okay, either he lied about that and they're like retractable, or they just kind of like didn't care.
I wonder because they came back around the time that it was implied that he was drinking human blood again.
Oh,
So
true.
I don't know if that like triggered them to like regrow. Because I've seen that before in
Mm.
shows where I don't remember what it was I was watching, but there's something where somebody filed down their teeth to like normal, and and then it was like they went back to human blood because of course they weren't drinking human blood, and somehow with that their like fangs grew back. So
Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible. I just thought the reasoning was so funny. Just like, yeah, I went to the dentist and was like, "Hey doc, can you file on my teeth?" And he did it. Okay.
I mean, Putin clearly has a lot of money, so
He does.
you can pay a dentist to do whatever. I'm sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, overall, great show. If you haven't watched it, I recommend checking it out, even though we kind of gave the whole plot summary, but it's still like I don't think
there's a
we can't
lot,
do it
yeah.
justice. Yeah, there's so much
No.
that we skipped over too, and just the atmosphere.
One of the things we didn't talk about was the fact that Yo's sister's the only one who has any sense in the show.
Oh my god, yes. We have like not mentioned Yo's sister at all.
So much of this show wouldn't have happened if she wasn't like pushing people to do stuff. Because she clearly understood everything that was happening at all times.
Oh yeah, her and Kamsai were friends, and like together they were the only ones who could figure anything out or like get anything done. And it was I just remember at one point watching the show being like, thank God these two are here. Otherwise, like they would just all be so lost.
Yeah, that's nothing would happen. The guys would have like stopped talking. Um,
Yeah.
because like at one point I think they had to like spell out to Yo that like Poon likes you, like
Hmm.
go confess because you clearly like him too, like go do something. And he was like, what?
And
And
they
they're like,
figured it out so early on too. It's
right.
like, yeah. They're
I
like,
mean,
come on, dude.
Poon didn't hide anything, like at all, ever.
Mm-mm.
Until it came to his wife.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing. Everything else, it was like, whatever you want to know, I'll tell you anything. Um,
Yeah. So, yeah, good for them for being the mediator in the show, because sometimes it was so frustrating to see Yo just being incapable of doing, like, anything. But all of their friendships were really cute and stuff, and yeah, I liked all the, like, friend group interaction together.
mhm. There's also a point where like the alien friends just kind of accepted the whole vampire shtick as well, and so they were like, "Yeah, we're here for that too now."
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the alien friends aren't in it, like, as much, but
No.
they come around every now and again, and
Yeah, they started out in like the first episode, like being like definitely like a main part of it, and then everything was just Poon Yo
yeah, and
in the
pork bun
restaurant.
soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend watching the show. I mean, it's it's unique. I
Yeah.
can't think of another show that I could really compare it to. Except maybe OMG Vampire, which I will watch and get back.
Yeah, you have to like go into it understanding what you're watching. Like, and that's I think why like the ratings are what they are on it, because like it's campy, and it's clear that they had a very basic budget because I don't know anything about this feel good Bangkok.
Yeah. I think they did like really well too. Like
Yeah.
the show looks really good. Like I was just like very impressed watching it being like, yeah, whoever was behind the camera like understood what they were doing.
Yeah. And like a lot of the actors like the guy that played Yo Opal, like this is his first show. So like there's not a whole lot of experience. Like BB hasn't done a whole lot. Shane's done a little bit. He was in My Engineer, which I know is another popular BL.
Oh, yeah, I have been meaning to watch that.
Yeah, it's on my list too. And then what's his name? Feel Good? Is it or Your Mood? Your Mood. That's what it is. That played
Yeah.
Shin. He's like a musician or something.
Mm.
I'm going through like Feel Good Bangkok's like Instagram right now, and it's just 1,000 years old. That's it. There's nothing else.
Well, maybe they'll I mean, they can't really do season 2 because everyone's dead, but, you know.
They must be a new company because their first post was from June of last year, and it says coming soon. And then they
Oh.
started in October with promoting 1,000 Years Old.
Oh, well, good for them. I like the show a lot. I would definitely watch, like, whatever they put out next.
Yeah. I literally don't see anything else.
Oh.
When was their last post? 5 days ago. And it was Shane doing something.
Mm. Well, everyone watch this show and enjoy it so they can make more.
Oh, it was Shane and Opal. Are they an official couple then?
Oh, probably.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be the only couple they have, so
Yeah, I mean, BB's under the same company, so
yeah, that's true. All right. Any final thoughts?
no, I think we covered everything.
I think
Um,
so.
well, that wraps up the show. Catch us in the next episode. I don't know what that's gonna be yet, but we'll figure it out. Um,
Mhm.
and in the meantime, you can find us on all of our socials, including Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air or Twitter at blintheair. Come say hi.
Yeah.
And
Let
otherwise
us
we're
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, let
sorry.
us know if there's any shows you recommend us to watch or any episode themes. We'd love to hear it.
Yep. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.